Gentleman that's already asked Coach some questions. Thank you, sir.
Owen Hillman, WVFS Tallahassee. In Tony White's 3-3-5 scheme, I've heard you be described as the rover. How has that been different in terms of positional-wise versus what you've played before as a nickel and as a safety?
Just being at that rover position, I'm always in the intermediate level. So just being that guy, come off the edge, blitz, be in a post. I love the position. I'm ready for the opportunity, and I'm excited to take the field with my guys.
Earl, right side, fifth row, hard to the right.
How you doing, Earl? Stephen Bernard, League Winners. Quick question, obviously having a new DC in Tony White. Talk about Pat's role still with the defense. Obviously, you're one of the more versatile pieces in that secondary, yourself, Edwin, Shaheem, those guys. Talk about how it's changed a little bit, even with Pat being there, what your role is going to be this year.
St. Pat Sertan. Go Pat. Repeat that question again.
Talk about your role in the defense, even with having Pat, but also having Tony thrown into that mix. What the scheme's going to look like in your role as well.
A lot of things change, with different coaches, a different scheme. But, we're all, just fitting in the right way, just finding ways to be versatile, cause and wreak havoc for opposing offenses. And, we're all excited for the new, opportunity,
Earl, left side, first row, right in front of you.
James Hortoro, wakeupcalldt.com. Earl, we've seen success with Tony White's 3-3-5 in the ACC. Had success when he came to Syracuse with it. What do you like the most about the scheme? And then about the man, Tony White, what is it about him that speaks to you as a leader?
What I like, the most about the scheme, schematically, is, it allows us to, like DJ said, show our versatility. Just play with that edge. We can hit you from different points, on the field. Like I said, we're going to wreak havoc, for opposing offenses, and we're just going to fly around. That's something that Coach Tony White emphasizes, being physical and playing with dominant contact, playing with, relentless effort. That's something that we harp on, and that's definitely one of our focal points is going on into the season. We're going to put emphasis on that. And as far as Tony White, man, he's definitely a great leader. I'm glad that Coach brought him on the team. We're excited to play for him. He brings that fire, that edge, and that juice every day, and I can't wait to put that on display.
Earl, right side, fifth row, gentleman in the white shirt.
Brandon Pockus with the League Winners. Over the spring, what was your mentality and what were you focusing on? And then as you head into fall camp and towards the regular season, what are you hoping to showcase and what are you hoping to build upon as you head into the regular season?
I had a few focal points, going on into the spring. I was asked to be a leader, to be more vocal on the team, because, that's what the team needs. As far as my game, just bringing everybody up around me, as far as, everybody on the defensive side of the ball, specifically the secondary, just being that leader, speaking up, just, like I said, bringing those guys up around me, because, I treat everybody the same, because, everybody can be on it. You never know who can be on the field, whether it's a freshman, last year through, everybody has to get treated the same. So we attacked the day, with a great mindset. I harp on those guys every day, just lock in, do what you got to do. You don't got to do nothing special, be special. Just continue to be yourself, put your head down, and keep working. That's what we've been doing.
Earl, we'll stay on the right side, about the sixth row. Gentleman's got sunglasses on the cap there.
Earl, this is Taz Henry from College Football Sunday. Just a quick question. How important during this climb that Coach Norvell talked about, how important is it to recruit the state of Florida, in your opinion? Because I just noticed that this is one of probably the few schools, or if not the only school here today, that has guys all from the state of Florida.
It's a great thing, being able to come in and put on for this logo. Y'all know how big this logo is, the standard that it upholds. So, just staying in the state and coming playing for the state, that's a blessing. And I encourage all recruits, come put on for the state and come wear this logo.
Earl, your last question will be on the right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Earl, right here. In terms of the standard, it's been talked about a lot by Norvell. It's been emphasized by your teammates that got up here as well. You talk about what it means to wear the logo and play for the Spirit of the State. What does that standard look like at Florida State? What is that standard if you had to describe it in a couple sentences?
just playing with tremendous effort, and like Coach said, just being relentless and being desperate. You know what I'm saying, desperate to win, desperate to eat, and, just desperate to succeed. That's all he harps on. That's all. We hit on that every day. You know what I'm saying, you come here to be desperate and to succeed. Just like I said, put that logo on your chest and play for your last name in the school.
Florida State, thank you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.